Right, 7:49. Good morning. It is the Santin Express breakfast show. The name is Wildfire DJ. Right, a very good morning. Hoping you're having a wonderful start to your what do you call it? Monday. Right, it's the 9th of December 2019, and a very good morning. All right, keep it nice and easy on the roads. All right, joined also by Mr. M. Miss M, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. How was your weekend?
It was good. Just raining, and but it's a good story.
Yeah, no, it is. It is indeed. Right, and thank you for joining us this morning. And we basically are going through the story of Tanganda. Right. I think it was on Thursday. I was talking to Tinashe, and I was like, "What does Tanganda mean?" He had his own explanation, saying that Tanga means begin. I don't know if that's the truth.
I don't know what Tanganda means, but from the website of the company, tangandat.com, there is a history portion.
Yes.
And this is what they say. Tanganda tea is its origin in farming in the Chipinge district of Zimbabwe as far back as 1910, over 100 years ago. So now 1910 to 2019, that's the journey of Tanganda. What does that give us? In that journey?
How many years? A century. That's 100 years.
No. Now 2019 minus 1910.
2019 minus 1910. All right. Let's see. Geez, that's over 100 plus, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's over 100 plus.
No. Yeah. What is the exact number?
Okay, 19, there were 100 years. So
2019 minus 9, it's 109 years, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be 100. Yeah, that's 109.
109 years.
So they're actually clocking 110 years in existence.
The next year, 2020.
Yes.
So as far back, the name of Tanganda itself came from the name of a river that runs through one of the company's plantations. But to most Zimbabweans, it is now synonymous with tea. Did you know that?
No, I actually didn't know. I'm learning history.
Yeah, that's what they say. About tea was first commercially planted in the area in 1924. So that's when it was planted. So we have
Okay, that's a very long history. So meaning it's gone through the world. It's been in existence from is it the World War I, World War II?
No, World War I ended in 1918. So this was the commercial plantation, and there were two Assam planters, Arthur Ward and Grafton Phillips, using seeds carried back from Assam by Miss Florence Phillips, established a small tea plantation on U.S. Gift Estate in the Chipinge district of the Eastern Highlands of Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the deaths, we have the start was the farming, and then the commercial, the tea was first planted only in 1924. So those are the important dates.
Dates that we got to take note of.
When we look at the heritage of the company, that it has moved.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at the heritage of the company, why is it so important, Mr. M, for us to understand the heritage of a company?
When we say your birthday, why is it important to celebrate a birthday? Why?
Okay. For me as a human being, it's a sign of life. Does this apply to a company, that you celebrate the life of a company?
Yeah, one day the company does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
The next day the company exists.
Right.
So what is that? It means somebody has given life to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And that company becomes the basis on which we talk.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about the company as having its own life. And a company is born,
mm-hmm.
some die. So you say this company is how old today?
Mm-hmm.
It would then be the age of the company. So each year you are adding up.
Yes.
To the life of that company. Mm-hmm. So it won't lie. It has a beginning, and also it has an end. When it folds or something happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what the life of a company is.
Mm-hmm.
It has a beginning.
Yes.
And it continues. The people who established it mm-hmm. are long gone. But the enterprise itself has its own story.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the story from the beginning to the end. That is part of storytelling. There are some people who didn't even know what Tanganda is and Tanganda is not.
Mm-hmm.
And now they know.
That is correct.
What Tanganda means, it was just a river. And for most people, do we really care whether the name and the connection with the place? And there was a farming operation in 1910. Then the first tea was planted in 1924. Mm-hmm. And there are individuals who are Arthur Ward and Grafton Phillips, and the seeds were carried back from Assam mm-hmm. by Miss Florence Phillips, which means that could be the wife of Grafton. So there are three individuals who are at the foundation of this. Mm-hmm. And they brought seeds from another place. And today, for the last almost 100 years, Tanganda tea is actually a foreign import. Mm-hmm. So people imported the seeds, then planted them. And today we have a story to tell.
That's true, yeah.
Then in 1925, that's when a decision was taken by human beings like you and me. And those human beings are the ones that have defined and shaped what Tanganda is and is not. So we have that decision in 1925 to attempt to grow tea on an experimental scale. For the cultivation of tea was considered to require at least 1,270 millimeters of rain per year, and no rainfall records had previously been kept at New Year's Gift, which is the place. So there were no records to rely on, to bank on, and that's the story. That's 1925. It's like having a pilot radio show just to test the market and to test the reception of the listeners, the viewers, on what this is, this content is all about. So we are talking about banking on Africa's future, talking about knowing your brands. Tanganda tea is a Zimbabwean brand, but the seed of it was imported into Zimbabwe. So it's not a native crop.
Crop, yes. So I mean, this goes back to the issue of chicken. I was listening to the other show that you did with Tinashe when you were talking about the chicken having grandparents. So this is really exciting.
Yeah, that's what we are saying. It's knowledge itself. You discover you know very little.
Yes.
When you begin to dig deeper into the stories of other people, other companies, then you discover what you know is not what exists. It was not until the nursery of tea seedlings produced from seed, specially imported from Assam, was established, that it became evident that rainfall was much below requirements. And how many people say colonialists took away our land? But here you have the so-called settlers bringing something into the Eastern Highlands and giving a new identity to the Eastern Highlands. And this history is important for people to know that what we call Zimbabwe today is not necessarily the Zimbabwe that was indigenous. So this was not an indigenous crop. This was really an imported a product, a seed. So when you say whose seed is it, it means you must be able to know where the source code is. That today we will not have Tanganda tea estate were it not for the people that we have identified being part of the story of Tanganda. Arthur Ward, Grafton Phillips, and Miss Florence Phillips, who brought the seeds. So the planters were two, Arthur and Phillips, and Arthur and Grafton. Those were the two planters. So here, undefeated by this adverse factor of rain. However, one of the many early setbacks, it was decided to experiment with irrigation from the Tanganda River, which flows through the estate. So that was experimentation. This one has failed. In other places where tea is grown, there is natural water.
Yeah.
In this case, they had to find an alternative. This is undeterred. This is the power of the human spirit.
They're never giving up spirit.
Yeah. So this unique experiment in tea cultivation proved successful, and the irrigated garden flourished. And that's the beginning of the Tanganda that we now know today. Then in 1926, 28, we now have another milestone, which is the 1928. You can trace this history. Many of us were not born then, but effectively there was something taking place. So 1928, during 1928, a few grams of tea from the first plantings were plucked and manufactured in the homestead kitchen by Miss Florence Phillips. And samples were sent to London and Calcutta for testing and approval by professional tea testers. So first there was need to validate, and then after validation, outside the then territory of Rhodesia, that was then sent to the outside people to be able to validate, and the importance of validation in business. Some people may take it as academic, others may take it seriously. So that is the story. We are now in 1928 from 1910.
Yes.
And we are moving up. So that is then 1930, something happened. And all we can do is share what happened.
Yes.
Because nothing changes by us refusing to share.
History will never be altered.
Yeah, history is what it is. It remains. So 1930, together with the friends in the tea industry in the United Kingdom and India, Messrs. Ward and Phillips established a company that was later expanded into the Rhodesia Tea Estates Limited, which started with just 3.5 hectares of tea. That's the story. So we are now in 1930, and this is what we see as the development of the Tanganda story. Yeah. So,
okay. No, I was saying it's very interesting to see the birth of this brand. I mean, I thought all along I thought it started off in Zimbabwe, but I'm seeing that actually its heritage dates way back all the way to India. I was actually googling, finding out where Assam is. I must confess, the first time I actually hear this place called Assam.
You didn't know what Assam is, so now you can tell us what have you found out?
Assam is a state in the northern eastern India. known for its wildlife, archaeological sites, and tea plantations. In the West Guwahati. Assam's largest city features silk bazaars and the hilltop Kamakya temple. It actually has a heritage of tea plantations. So this is very interesting.
So there is a connection between Tanganda and
India.
And India.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So that's the history. That's when people talk of colonialism, when people talk of these foreign ideas, some people may in ignorance not know the connection between Assam and
Zimbabwe.
And Chipinge. So, where you call Tanganda, which is a river, that's a river that flows through the farm. And this is a history, it is a heritage, and that's where things started, and that's where things are. So if you look at the humble beginnings of this project or this idea, from these humble beginnings, the Tanganda Tea Company now comprises 6 estates. New Year's Gift, which was the first one, Rattle Souk, established 1932, Jersey and Zona, established 1944, and Avuncho Petronella established in 1990 with a combined yield of 10,000 tons of tea per annum. So that's 10,000 tons you can convert into kgs, you can convert into grams, and that's what it is. That's what Tanganda is today. There are many people who may not be familiar with this company. And let's see where the Mikus family came into this history, because we know that Mr. Moxon is a director of the company of this Tanganda. The Mikus family got involved with Tanganda tea estates in the early 1930s and has overseen the development of the company ever since then. So that is the Mikus family. They were not the founders, but they got involved in the early 1930s. Did you know that there's a connection between the Mikus family and Tanganda? That doesn't always mean that if you are the founder, you must cling to your foundation.
I mean, it's a story that I'm actually learning as we go with the show, it's a big history.
How many people call Tanganda tea Zimbabwean?
Well, I'm the first one to admit I call Tanganda tea a Zimbabwean product, but today I just discovered that it's actually from India. So that's an eye opener there.
Yeah. So the name Tanganda, so intimately connected with the prosperity of the original estate at New Year's Gift, is now known for its quality, strength, freshness, and full flavor qualities, which are constantly being improved as a result of continuous care and research. So there is research, there's care. What we now see is a product of human innovation, human ingenuity, but the seed came from India, from Assam. That cannot be changed. That's what it is. So let's look at the beverage decision, because as you know, Tanganda you drink. Tanganda is a beverage. There are many people who may not know that Tanganda is a beverage at the end of it all. So what kind of beverage is it? This is Tanganda Tea Company, the Tanganda, they call it the Tanganda Tea Company. The beverage division now consists of a blending and packaging plant in Mutare with sales and distribution depots in Harare, Bulawayo, and Mutare. And that's the beverage division. And the products are distributed. This is the distribution of the products, because most people don't know what a company is and is not. At the end of the day, they are leaves. Tea, yeah, there is a product which you then combine with water and boiled water, or you can even ice it. So that product is now called Tanganda. Some people drink it. So products are distributed to wholesale and retail outlets on both the domestic and export markets. And the focus was on the export market. Some people in South Africa of Zimbabwean heritage, some of them are ignorant of the history of this company, that actually there is a little India in it, that the seed was Indian. And who created the seed in India? That is the question for the day. Whose seed is it? When you drink Tanganda, where did it come from? It couldn't have come from India. Who would have placed that seed in India? What for? And who found the seed? So as we trace back, we can go into the origins of tea. And you find that it didn't come from anyone's stomach. It was created. So the first seed must have come from somewhere. And someone placed it in India for Miss Florence Phillips to then take that seed after having drank tea there, to say, let me bring it to the then Rhodesia. So she brought seeds, and there we go. And that's what happened in the years that we call history. There's nothing that we can do to take the seed back to India and reject it as a
foreign seed,
a product of colonialism. Many people who drink tea, they don't know there's a connection within with the settlers. If these settlers, the husband and wife Phillips, and the friend Arthur Ward, then we would not be where we are today. So that tells us about the heritage of tea. In that heritage, you see a lot of faces, a lot of voices, and stories, real stories of people. We couldn't be in 2019 without starting from 1910. So these 109 years are full of stories which have yet to be told. So you now know that this seed was imported. and Zimbabwe is better for it. People are having jobs that they could not have had without this. So, says Terry Mike, okay, we have the major products, the brands, so that we can understand the brands of this company, the Tanganda Tea Company. Okay, this is the admin. Is it the admin? Or the administration? We have already passed that.
Yeah. So we're looking at the major brands that include Stella, Tanganda.
Deal with the admin. That in every company you need admin, and admin and financial controls for the division are located in Harare. That's where the center of gravity is. So we have we now know where the gravity is. Then let's go to the actual products for people who don't know. The major company brands include the following: Stella, Tanganda, Silver, Choco, Special Blend tea bags, and Tanganda tips, classic gifts, fresh leaves, and rooibos. So that is the life of Tanganda. And then to conclude this portion of the story, before we get to know the company itself, there is a Tanganda opened its mineral water bottling plant in August 2006, initially producing over 7,123 cases of Tanganda water. Then by the year 2010,
is it the part where they produce almost 267,000 cases?
Cases, yeah.
Yeah. And with the installation of the new bottle blowing machine, by working 3 shifts a day, the company is able to produce 25,000 bottles of 500 mils of water daily. That's a huge production there.
Yeah. So that's what we are learning from the story, 500 mils. And this is the story of Tanganda to 2019. So can we recap? Just go through the story. So now it's your exam time.
I'm ready. There's lessons that I've learned.
Yeah, you can tell the story now.
Okay, so Tanganda origins date back to 1910 with over 109 years. Also learned that the seed itself came all the way from the northern eastern part of India. in the late 1924 with the likes of Arthur Ward and Grafton Phillips, who carried the seed back from Assam with Mrs. Florence Phillips. And then in 1925, they actually attempted to grow tea on an experimental basis, which really didn't go well. But then because of the river which was flowing through the farm, which is Tanganda River, they then set up a small sort of experimental garden, which was successful, right? And then in 1928, they started picking up plantings, which were then taken to to London and Calcutta for testing, which was approved by the Tea Testers Association. What else? I know that in 1930, they actually grew 3.5 hectares of tea. The Mittles family also got involved in the early 30s. We see them coming also into the picture, right? What else did I learn? Tanganda has a number of brands. I think it's Stella, Tanganda, Silver, Joko. Those and Rooibos. I think they also have Moringa, and they also produce Tangamira water. Right, they started off in 2010 by producing 267,000 cases, and then they moved to 25,000 bottles per year of water that they produce on a daily basis. Did I pass?
But so if you are telling the story, then you have passed, and Sabina is asking Amurari as if we are sleeping in the same bed. While we are asleep, Sabina is not saying it, but she asks the question, or she comments Amurari as if 24 hours is meant for sleep only. So when we bank on Africa's future, it's sharing the stories. And Sabina may have missed the story of the Tanganda Tea Company. Yes. Why are we sharing? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So you can, I think the lights went off, internet had gone, but we're trying to share a story. And Tanganda is now a Zimbabwean brand. It's called Tanganda Tea. But it's not only Tanganda. I have set my alarm. I'm missing a lot. So Sabina, if you want to know about the history of Tanganda, go through this link. It will tell you that it's a long story. Mr. or Mrs. Tanganda, Zimbabwe, Tanganda Tea, that is now 109 years old. And it started just as a small story, as told by 3 individuals, and those individuals were Mr. Arthur Ward, Grafton Phillips, and Miss Florence Phillips. So there was 2 men and 1 woman. The woman was the wife of Mr. Phillips, and she's the one who brought the seeds, and they tried to experiment on a farm located in the eastern highlands in Chipinge. And there was a river, or there's a river that passes through the farm, and that river is called Tanganda. And that's where the name comes from. And then we go to 1924, you discover that the first commercial plantation was commenced, and the rest is history. So wherever you are and you are interested in the history with a view to consuming, because you may drink other tea brands, and if you want to support jobs in Zimbabwe, you are compelled to look for Tanganda tea wherever you are. If you can't get it, be the first bridge to getting that heritage from Zimbabwe, like Miss Phillips did, took the seeds. And you can then take the actual tea from Zimbabwe to wherever you may be located. And when you consume that, you know you are protecting Zimbabwean jobs, because the tea does not grow in the air. It has to be planted. And you know this value chain. You are the consumer. One person is a grower. The other is the one that processes. The other is the one that packages. The other is also the one that takes this product to your shelves, distributes it so that you can have access to it conveniently. So that's the story that we wanted to share today of this human being called the Tanganda Tea Company, just to be able to bank on brands that were created by men and women. These were settlers, and thank God they decided to settle in Zimbabwe and loved Zimbabwe so much that they imported settler tea from India. And today there are many people who think Tanganda tea, or the tea produced in the name of Tanganda, is a Zimbabwean tea. And maybe, Sabena, did you know that the tea produced in Zimbabwe, the seed that produced it came from India, from Assam? Did you know that? If you didn't, then just say so. If you knew, then when you told us. So I hope, Sabena, you've enjoyed the conversation on this tea and its origins, not the tea itself, the company, the organization that was put in place to produce the tea. It is administration in Harare. It is the financial controls in Harare. It is distribution outlets in various parts of Zimbabwe. So that is what we call banking on Africa's future. And some people would want to be indigenous, but if the seed is taken, what remains of the jobs in Tanganda? What remains of the infrastructure in Tanganda? Chai is tea in Greek. No, I didn't know. Yeah, that's, I hope, Sabena, you drink Tanganda tea wherever you are. It's now a Zimbabwean product. It's a Zimbabwean person who provides jobs to the people of Zimbabwe, provides forex every time you buy that tea, and the products, the rooibos and the other products that we've shared with you, you know you are promoting Zimbabwean jobs. What better way to be patriotic than just to buy and drink the tea? You are the one who drink it. But those who are tea drinkers, wherever you are, remember the story. That story gives us a lot to talk about, black and white in the tea. Indian, Europeans, indigenous people, all coming together to produce the tea. Yet, to small-minded persons, they will say, it's my tea, it's my indigenous tea, without understanding where this story came from. So, on that note, Wolf, unless you have any questions on this or comments?
No questions. Just a comment of saying, look, the beginning of the story of Tanganda is very enlightening, because this is a brand that started off in India, and it's now in Zimbabwe, and it started during that era of colonialism, as most people would put it. But when you drink the tea today, there's no colonialism in it. When people go to work, there's no colonialism in those jobs. So it's an interesting story, and it actually relates to our day-to-day living of saying, look, let's do what we got to do. Because generations to come after us will benefit from what would have started today. So that's my contribution.
And says, I drink 8 cups of tea, and but she has not said which tea. There are many teas. We are interested in banking on Zimbabwe's future. We are not interested in tea. We are interested in the value in the tea, in those seeds that came from India, that Florence Phillips brought to Zimbabwe, to Rhodesia then. What kind of tea do you drink, or do you even know what Tanganda produces? We are going to have a quiz. We are going to have a quiz, Sabrina, so that you can tell us what tea do you drink, and we know whether you are patriotic or not by the tea that you drink.
Yeah.
So tell us, Sabrina, we are all ears. We just want to know, to tell your character by the tea that you drink. So let's hope Sabrina will give us the tea that she drinks, so that we can truly assess her character and whether she is patriotic as others would claim to be.
Right.
There are many people who claim to be patriotic. Yes, change of my product to support my country, Zimbabwe. I've been taking English Yorkshire tea. Thanks for the honesty, Sabrina. There are very few people who are honest about what they do. English Yorkshire tea is one brand of tea that is good tea. But imagine, Sabrina, in the UK, you chose to support the Zimbabwean jobs, and 8 cups per day. Every time you drink the coffee or the tea, then you are doing so in the name of the people you left behind. You never know what 8 cups of tea can do to an economy that is on its knees. There are many of us who would like to lament about the state of affairs in Zimbabwe. But when you ask them what time it is, they'll tell you it's time for English Yorkshire tea. Can you imagine? They will not tell you that it's time for Tanganda tea. There are many people all over the world who drink this tea. What they buy is the tea. They don't buy Zimbabwe. You are not supporting Zimbabwe. You are supporting the product. There you see in the background, if you look at the screen, you see the tea, the green tea, the way it looks, where it is being produced, not where it's being sold. Mm-hmm. So, yes, yeah, Sabina says she will change. I think that's a threat.
I'd like to see Sabina take a picture, tag the 1873 when you drink your Tanganda tea.
Yeah, but there are many people who threaten to do something.
Yeah.
Why would she need to be on this platform to start talking of change? Mm. If it was genuine change, it will occur without anyone promoting it. So, you know, there are many people like Sabina. English Yorkshire tea is not Tanganda. I've been very stupid here. We can order online, get info. I really feel bad. What should I do with a half cup I'm left with? I feel like throwing it away. Yes, we'll talk to Tanganda, the company, to ask where you can get tea in the United Kingdom. If you give us your GPS, then we will be able, and if you are committed to it and sharing your experience when you drink it, as English Yorkshire tea is definitely not Tanganda, and Tanganda is not the tea. Tanganda is a river on the farm, the first farm that was used to produce tea in Zimbabwe for the first time in that area. So Tanganda is just the name of a river. It has nothing to do with tea. The tea seeds came from India. And you can call them colonial tea or Indian tea. And there are many people who don't like Indians, but they drink the tea from India. Mm-hmm. So let us educate ourselves about identity. Whose tea is it? Is it the grower's tea, the drinker's tea, the processor's tea, or is just tea? It was created not from the mind, but it was created by somebody so that we can enjoy it. So that's the lesson for today. Those who want to create nations, create banks. We can create a bank of Tanganda tea drinkers. And we have Zoom shop online. The shop is 15 miles away. Mataura app. Thank you. Then I hope Sabina knew that before. Now she's singing Amazing Grace. That I knew all along that I'm doing the wrong thing. I am undermining the jobs that I want to be promoted. I want to make the people of Zimbabwe first, not the people of Yorkshire. That is no one who tells you what tea to drink. Even Prime Minister Johnson cannot tell you what tea to drink. This is a choice you make. And tomorrow we are going to check with Sabina to check whether she's living up to the promise. Mm-hmm. If it's not tomorrow, we keep on every day until she starts showing us a tea bag. So we're going to have a conversation with a tea bag. In that tea bag, you see black and white. You see equipment in it. You see the land in it. You see everything in it. But what you drink is the final product. So, Sabina, I hope now you understand the banking on Africa's future. That when we tell the story, we will discover things that we don't want to hear. That Tanganda tea is a product of a sperm that comes from India. Very, very true. English tea, yanga ya kushata, just because of this show, we are grateful that unless we share, unless we provoke someone to be angry, to be inspired, to be ignited to look for the right tea, there's nothing English about tea. You may discover that tea did not come from England. That tea, even Boston Tea Party, imagine a party hosted by Sabina called the Tanganda Tea Party, where the only beverage drank there is a Tanganda product. It comes in many forms, but there are many people, including presidents, Africa, who like Yorkshire tea. They even import it. And they ask, where did the jobs go? And they don't know that their appetite decides where the jobs go to. So, Sabina, this is a civics class. When we say indigenous land, as you see at the back there, what you see, that tea is not indigenous, but is dressing up the land given common to all. That land is in Zimbabwe. Without the tea on it, it has no other value other than what it can give to human beings and animals and all the creatures that were created so that we can use them for our own, even medicines. Can you see medicines coming out of airtime that you can do an SMS of a prescription of pills? You can't. Yet without land, there is no medicine. Without land, there is no tea. And we call it Tanganda because that's where the river that flows through the farm was named. So hopefully that's, we see it lifts you up. The products are many, and people who don't even know. We only call it Tanganda tea, but it's not only the product called tea that is produced there. There are many other products that are produced there.
Yeah, I mean, they've got quite a number. I'm holding their Rooibos tea here, and also their tagless tea bags, which come in a...
But when you're holding it, whose is it?
It's my tea.
Yeah, so what tea do you have?
I've got Tanganda tea, and then I've got Rooibos tea.
Okay. So for those who can't see, you can show it again so that...
let's see if it comes to the screen there. I'll try and stand up and move closer. So I've got this.
Yeah, now we can see. Yeah, we can see the word Rooibos. Natural.
And then I've got this as well.
That's the original Tanganda tea bag, is it?
Yes, it is the original one.
It's not a Chinese tea that is called Tanganda now.
No.
Are you sure?
No, it is the original one.
of counterfeiting. How do we certify authenticity?
Approved by the Zimbabwe standards.
Approved by the Zimbabwe standards?
Yes, it's actually IS. Is it ISO 901 QMS certified company, pegged and distributed by Tanganda Tea Company Limited, 15 Voma Road, Mutare, Zimbabwe. Right. So it's got the seal there of approval. Looks genuine.
Are you sure?
Yes. We can, maybe we can call somebody from Tanganda to approve, to actually tell us it's the real deal.
Yeah, let's. I can't get him on the.
Okay, I think Sabina, you want me to send you a pack? Yes, I can send you a pack, Sabina. Inbox me your address, and I'll send you one pack wrapped in a Christmas box.
So that's I think it has a certificate of origin.
Mm-hmm.
And it is authentic, and Sabina can actually test it. So that's how we're trying to get someone from Tanganda, but obviously we couldn't. I think. Oh yeah, no, I think I see the mistake.
Okay.
The number, I couldn't get the number because it was sent as if I'm in Zimbabwe.
Oh, it's got a plus 263.
Yeah, plus 263. Yeah. So let's try Tim now. Let's see whether we can. Still, we have a problem with okay, 263. Yeah, let's see whether we can get it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in. You're about to listen to the hottest sounds. It's the hottest mixtape in the world, and you've got it.
Yeah, let's see. Hello, is that Mr. Fennel?
Hello?
Is that Mr. Fennel?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
My name is Mutuma Mawere. I'm calling from Johannesburg.
Yes.
I got your number from Jean and Mr. Moxon.
Yeah.
And we have a radio station here that I'm a chairman of. We have a project called Banking on Africa's Future. And today we are focusing on the Tanganda Tea Company from 1910 to 2019. So there are a number of listeners, some in the UK, who are saying, is it the authentic Tanganda tea or it's a fake one? So I said, no, I'll call Mr. Feno to confirm whether something in blue is authentic. I can see a package in blue.
Yes, is it blue or is it grey?
It looks like wildfire. What does it look like? You are holding it.
It's a gray and it's got a blue lining and it's written in silver and green.
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay.
Is there any way you could WhatsApp me a pic of?
I can send you a link now so that you can see what we have.
Yes, I can quickly have a look and then revert to you.
Okay, so let me send you a link and you join the conversation.
Yes, that'll be great.
Okay. I'll send.
But what I would like to do is I'd like to see a photograph. Yes.
Yeah, you see the photograph once you click the link.
Okay, super. Thanks very much.
Okay, so I'll talk to you shortly.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All
Bye-bye.
right.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. M.
Yeah, so at least we're talking to the managing director of
Tanganda.
Tanganda, yeah. And that's, let's see his picture so that people can see him in his true colors. So that's him, Timothy Phillips.
Okay.
You can see him.
Yes.
So that's what the wildfire. I'll order on Zim online as soon as possible. Thank you. So that's
that's Sabina then.
Yeah, but you will just see the product from Sabina because she says no. I can order from Zim online. So we'll see whether Mr. Tim Fennell can give you a sample so that he can make you feel guilty. Because now she's saying I will order, which means she's confirming that she doesn't drink Tanganda tea. So now we know the sellouts, people who live in Zimbabwe and think of Yorkshire tea. So what can we do? How can we help Zimbabwe when the people who live it behave as if they're English people? So that's the banner saying, I don't care about Zimbabwe, I care about Yorkshire and the tea that is named for the place. So this is what we have. That is Yorkshire. It's things that we can do for ourselves. Know your products and act as if you are the owner of the product. So let's not act as if Tanganda is a foreign product. Let's act as if Tanganda is ours. And just the idea of making Tanganda our product. Pound kamdara, pound rakasungirirwa pagumbo neshumba inini shangu. Don't blame the pound, blame yourself. This is a show we talk about people, we talk to people, not to pounds. We don't even want to use in dollar. We want the value in the tea. It doesn't have legs for it to leave India as a seed, then to be planted in Zimbabwe and be harvested in Zimbabwe, processed and packaged in Zimbabwe. So it is a value that started just as a seed, and today we are better for it. So let us not blame the English people. Let us celebrate Miss Florence Phillips, so that henceforth we may call Mrs. Florence Phillips a Zimbabwean, because she brought the seed and others did the rest. So he's not picking up anymore.
Okay.
So I've sent him the link.
All right. Let's see if we can join in.
Yeah, but he's not answering. So I think that is but you can see him there. So it's authentic that the packaging that you have and what he was talking about look like identical.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah. So I think we can give him 2 minutes. If he doesn't feature, then we don't pursue a person who doesn't feature. Maybe it's technology that is affecting. Maybe it's electricity. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we wanted him to see, but we've heard his voice.
Yes.
So you can, those who want to know who it is, they now know that Mr. Phillips was on air. Mr. Fenno, not Phillips, yeah. That's Timothy Fenno. Yeah, I guess
maybe technology is playing with him.
But today is a Monday, and they could have management meetings at this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I put my own foot and cut the middleman? There are many things that you can, Sabrina, but don't threaten to do them.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just to go to Assam, pick up and see how complex it is to convert a seed into the final product. It may just be easy for you to drink the final product. Just mix it. Just mix it with water, because on its own you won't like the taste. So make sure that from now onwards we look for products that promote what you want to see, the kind of Zimbabwe you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play your part. The tea already exists. So hopefully, complex is the word. Indeed, it's not so easy to get the outcomes we want. You see in a tea bag,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who just do the packaging, the graphics, even the Tanganda, the way the tea is written, it is in itself part of the product. The people who transport the tea, the people who store the tea, so it's not so easy to substitute. So it's easier for us to do other things and then drink the tea.
Yes.
So I think unless there's anyone with a question, burning question, we call it a day. So let's give 1 or 2 minutes for anyone who has something to say. And please say it. If you have something to say, just say it. So let's see whether there's anyone who is ignited, provoked, and inspired to drink Tanganda tea wherever they are and to look for it, so that we can share where you can find Tanganda tea wherever you are. And if it's not there, be the first one to bring it. We will help you get access to the product wherever you are. And let's have tea parties.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see anyone coming there on your side?
On my side, there's no one coming up. Actually, Maggie Docas Nyamupepema says, I'm a proud product of Tanganda Tea Co Limited. Mr. Henry Namaire was my internship supervisor at one point. So what's happening at Tanganda now?
Yeah, Henry is the gentleman in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
He's the finance, I think, finance director.
Yeah.
Of the company.
Right.
So Henry is there.
Okay. So they have it, Dukas. Thank you for your comment.
So she says she's a proud product. How can someone be a product of something that doesn't exist? Tanganda Tea Company is just a vehicle to convert seed into tea. Itself doesn't change, doesn't produce anything. So without the seed, there is no tea. Without the people, without the water, without the irrigation, you can't produce the tea. So let's celebrate the combination of irrigation systems, the combination of everything that is there. And Tanganda is the real deal. No, the actual product is the real deal. Tanganda is just a brand. It's just a brand to confuse the people so that they may know the difference between Yorkshire tea and Tanganda tea. Or is it Five Roses and Tanganda? So there's nothing more to it. It's really your own choice. It's a brand. A brand is not the product that you consume. A brand is only there to market. So the tea that you drink must have the products that we call tea. then we can give it a name, like you can get a name called Maggie Dorcas, but it doesn't make you Maggie Dorcas. You just remain the T in you, the person in you, Nyampepema. So that's her name, but it's not the name that gives you identity. So I hope we can talk later and more about identity, so that we can use T as just a case study to talk about identity and perfect our discussions on identity. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. M. And thank you so much to the listeners, viewers, for joining us this morning as we were looking at the history of Tanganda and just understanding how the company came into being. Otherwise, from myself and the rest of the team, it's God bless and enjoy the rest of the day. We'll be back on your radio later on.